Awesome. So today we have with us Leonard, founder of AfroCharts. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Yeah, it's warm out.
Yes.
It was nice to be out and
Yeah.
driving the breeze.
Yeah, the weather was nice today. I never know what to expect. Some days I think it's going to be cold and then end up regretting what I'm wearing. At any rate, it was a really beautiful day today.
Yeah, you
And I'm
are.
glad that we're able to finally connect
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get you on the show.
I'm excited, talking, brings out a lot of ideas when
Yes,
two
it
people are
does.
sitting down and just chatting. Yeah.
Absolutely. We've had multiple times where we just sort of cross paths in different events and things, but really sitting down having a conversation is important. So I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank
I
you.
like to kick things off with a fun question. So I'm gonna throw something out there for you to answer. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's your favorite song these days since you're the music man?
We just talked about I don't like we don't you don't like being loyal to AI. I'm the same way with music because I have so much access to music. I'm like,
Okay.
if I restrict myself to certain
Okay.
songs,
So you don't have any one favorite song?
well, right now I'm listening to a lot. There's this song from Tanzania by an artist from Tanzania. It's called Enjoy.
Sure.
And it's a mix of piano, afrobeats, and bongo flavor, which is a local genre back home in Tanzania. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's very cool. Well, you'll have to send me the link.
Will
I'm
do.
always open to trying new music, especially these days.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, there is a local startup called Rivet.
Yep.
And you know about Rivet?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so I recently took the persona test again. I took it last year. And last year I was deemed the advocate. And now I've been deemed an explorer. And I don't know what's happened over the last year that's made me an explorer, but I'm more open to trying.
You're more curious.
Yes, I'm more curious and open to trying new things. And so I'm like, oh, okay, what kind of music you listen to? He's gonna send it my way.
That is what's up. Because I met somebody who's like, I only listen to 3 artists: Jay-Z, Kanye West. I don't remember the other person. Is like, yeah, it just depends on the mood.
Wow. No,
that's all limit.
You gotta open yourself up to, all of the awesome artists and music out there. Speaking of, Diddy dropped an album recently, and I just started listening to it today. Have you taken it?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
I am on the 3rd or 4th track, and I'm like, what? This is actually quite solid.
Come on, if it's an album, you gotta sit down, take it all in at one time.
You do. And I just started. I don't think I've ever really taken albums so serious. So I'm like, let me sit down with a glass of apple juice.
Not wine, huh?
I know. I saw your face when I said apple juice. You were like, not apple juice.
By the time you finish the album, your stomach is boof.
That is so funny. But sit down with a nice non-alcoholic beverage and listen to it all the way through. But this one I might have to. So anywho, I did want to start off with just getting your take on music right now. My favorite song is Virgo's Groove by Beyonce. I don't know why. I'm really loving it. So I turn it on every time I get in the car these days.
You're the repeat person.
I am.
Repeat.
Yes, I have to wear it out until I'm sick of it, and then I hop ship to something else. But so let's maybe shift gears a bit and kind of switch into technology. Okay, so you're the music and tech guy.
Yeah. How'd that come about? A nerd in the music industry.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more. Let's help listeners to learn a bit more about your company, AfroCharts, how it got started, what it is, what a good customer use case is, all that stuff.
Yeah. So my story goes back home. Originally, I'm from Burundi, very tiny country in the East Africa or Central East Africa, and just Rwanda. There's been a lot of wars in Burundi, so that forced us to flee to Tanzania. Or my parents flee to Tanzania. That's where I was born, but in a refugee camp. So their music kept us active. Aware. That's how we learned a lot of things, even about America, through music. And it kept us busy as kids. So from there, I just developed a passion of music. But we didn't have computers. So when I got here and I saw computers, what they can do, I'm like, I have to learn how to code. Right. So from there, I'm like, all right, what can I do with this, love of music I have and the technology part of things? I'm going to start stream platform because it's difficult to find African music as an immigrant living here. And it was the right time because now Afrobeats is popping and people are looking for more Afrobeats. Most people, I always ask them, which artist do you know? It's always Burna Boy, Wizkid, Teams. I'm like, well, that's just Nigeria. So my platform, AfroCharts, I created so we can expose more African music from all those 55 countries in one app. Unlike other platforms where we only get one playlist to represent the whole African music.
Wow.
On AfroCharts, we have a whole app, and each country has its own page where you can explore music.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so listeners, download AfroChart.
Yeah.
And as you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you learned so far since taking on this new venture?
Personally, it's not easy to start a business. Even as fun as the music is the toughest business I think you could get into. Making money is hard, as most people know. Artists cry all the time. Like I always say, artists are the only people who create a product but have to do other things to make money. They just use the product as an introduction, and then they must figure another way to somehow to make money. They just cannot make money direct from the product. So it's sad. That's what I had to learn real quick. Like, yeah, in this business, you gotta figure out. My goal is to help artists make money as we export the music, but people are like, I would rather listen for free. So that's been tough. Yeah.
Okay, so starting a business is not easy, and I think that is actually important to stress because it gets really glorified, entrepreneurship. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, I was giving a little bit of a talk or engaging in a talkback session yesterday with the Milwaukee's Gap Year program, and all of the young folks were like, we want to be entrepreneurs. And I'm like, it's a lot of work, right? And it takes a lot of strategy and a lot of planning and also execution. Like you have to actually do it then afterwards. So like letting folks, or making folks aware of like, yes, there's the glamorous side where maybe you get like a good feature or article or something like that, right? But they do not pay the bills. Okay. Press doesn't pay the bills per se, right? And so all the glamorous parts, with that also comes a lot of hard work. One thing that I was discussing with the youth yesterday was the importance of being able to leverage the technology that's at our fingertips right now to help us in our entrepreneurship journey. And so I explained 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and even 2 years ago, right? If I woke up one day and said I want to, start a company where, maybe I'm like the top VC in the Midwest, right? It would be pretty difficult to find mentors and funding and all this other stuff and someone to support with what I like to call navigational capital. But here now we have ChatGPT, and Claude and Bard and all of these generative AI models that literally all you have to do is type in a prompt, right?
They're your friend in your pocket.
And then all of a sudden you could say something like, in table format. Give me a 6-month or 12-month plan to help me, start from point A to get to point B, right? And I think, now more than ever, if there is a dream or a business that one wants to start, there's not many excuses. What are your thoughts on AI and how are you using AI these days?
Yeah, AI. So for me, the way I am, I like embracing new change. I don't try to run away from it because if somebody's using it to make money or advance themselves, then I should be doing the same thing. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using AI for different things. From how do I, plan a marketing or come up with a marketing plan? Right?
Smart.
I'm running a music stream platform, and I'm in America. AI was, ChatGPT was created in America, so it must have a lot of data on streaming platforms, what they did or what they're doing to make the companies be what they are. So that's when I just go there. Hey, I'm trying to do this. How can I go about it? Or how did Spotify do it? And then answers in less than a minute.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's like having a conversation with like a mentor, top mentor in your industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's incredible. And not enough of us, and you know, Black and Brown communities specifically are tapping into like the potential of AI. In fact, when I have conversations on panels or host workshops, the main theme is I'm afraid of it. I'm scared of it. It's going to take over, right?
The movies we've been watching.
Well, the movies, but then also history repeats itself. What advice could you give to somebody who feels that way?
Well, believe it or not, AI is here to stay. You know, like one thing I like about America compared to where I come from, where everything have to go through the government. Even here, things still, you know, go through the government. But here, government catches on change. You know, people don't wait until the government approves now. So AI has explored. It's out there in the world and it's here to stay. My advice, learn as much as you can. You know, whatever job you're currently doing, see how you can use AI to help you do the job faster. I'm sure you like some free time to go do other things, right?
Absolutely.
So
I always say, do yourself a favor, take a weekend out and learn a new skill. And AI is just, it is the thing to do.
Yeah.
A thing to learn and figure out how to implement it and integrate it into your daily processes or whatever you possibly can. It's a way to make money.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, if I may add, like another beautiful thing for AI as a coder, as a programmer, you know, we run into a lot of issue and you know, in coding, you spend at least 1 minute writing the code, and then 5 hours trying to figure out what's wrong
with it. Yes.
But now instead of going to Google search and all of Stack Flow, whatever, with AI, you just put, hey, I'm receiving this problem. This is the programming language I'm coding in. What's wrong? And voila, it gives you suggestions. It's like, hey, have you tried that? It looks like you're doing this wrong. And in less than a minute,
just like that,
you're done.
It's revolutionizing so many different spaces.
Yeah.
And it's just really incredible to watch it unfold and so rapidly. It just, my advice is that it's just wise to learn as much as you can. And typically when you do learn, then that fear goes away, right? There's that. But then also as it relates to fear and AI, people being afraid of AI, I think the things that we're most afraid of, like we can be the solution for it. If there is more representation in tech, then we don't have to be afraid of how the models work because we know that we're there and present and trusted to build it out and that it can be more advantageous to us than otherwise, right? But if we're not in the room where the models are being developed, right, then I can understand why there would be some hesitancy.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the education piece that we just have to really lean into and really embrace. And that's actually something that I want OpenAI and these other different leaders in this space to start to employing more, is figuring out how we can start to create more programs to educate different populations. Because we don't want it to be kind of like the .com era with the bubble burst where like the rich got richer and
only who knew, right? Yeah. I mean, computers, they only do what people tell them to do. They are smart because we make them to be that smart. So all these AIs are being generated by people, and like you said, we have to be inclusive, right? I know like some people said, oh, if we have robot cops, maybe they will be more fair. The person programming is programming to their own liking, right?
Their own liking, what they know.
Yeah. So we have to be part of the development, the teaching,
the regulation processes, all of that.
Yeah, that way they can benefit us as well. So
absolutely. Now, switching gears into Tech Month.
Yeah.
So Wisconsin Tech Month is coming up, and the first week of Wisconsin Tech Month is Milwaukee Tech Week. Super excited to be amplifying.
I know
all
last
the
year
cool
was
things.
confusing.
Yeah, people were saying it's really confusing XYZ, and so they handed it over Milky Way, and we're just we're maintaining Milwaukee Tech Week because it is still important to
Yes.
amplify what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And they call Milwaukee what do they say? It's a minority majority city, right? And so it's not one that I it's a program that I didn't want to just sweep under the rug and say goodbye to, right? It's important, in my opinion, to ensure that we're amplifying all of the incredible individuals and organizations that are really spearheading making not only Milwaukee a tech hub, but Wisconsin statewide a desired tech destination.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure that it is still a critical part of the programming for Wisconsin Tech Month. So Milwaukee Tech Week is the first week of the month. And for those who are listening, Wisconsin Tech Month is a statewide effort where there's going to be currently, I think we are approaching 70 or so events throughout the month of October. A lot of programming, a lot to manage, but it shows that there is an appetite for a programming that kind of unifies our ecosystem. And I'm super excited about Tech Month and the work that I do. I just love. I love developing ecosystems and doing so in a way that is inclusive and equitable. So a question that I have for you is, what would you like to see different or improve in the statewide or the local tech ecosystem to better support founders?
Well, I should start by saying kudos to you. You're putting in a lot of work. I can see how you're hustling to make this happen.
For sure.
But I attended Milwaukee, Wisconsin Tech Month and Milwaukee Tech Week as well. So it was fun. Met a lot of people. I learned a lot. Now, what I want to see this year, I think more events close to downtown maybe. So it's easy to navigate. That would be really helpful. And let's get some talks that attracts young people, right?
I love that.
Sports, music, what else? Video games. They love video games, but if somebody could talk about how they create them, trust me, they'll be more inclined to.
I'm glad you said that. We actually do have some video game programming this year. It will be led by Ben Juarez of Latinos in Tech and co-founder of Rivet. He'll be educating folks on how to develop video games.
There you go. Yeah. That's something you can code and see run right there. So it's fast, tangible, exciting. But other than that, I think I'm excited. And I haven't seen the list of what's happening yet, but I know it's going to be bigger than last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a founder, though, how can tech hubs or collectives and coalitions better support founders, startup founders like yourself?
It's
money.
It's tough, right? So, for example, there's a lot of programs, some grants, but once we get that grant, we don't know. Most of us, we don't know what to use. I know I want to hire a marketing team, but with a 10K, they're looking at me, you crazy. That's going to run in a few days.
Yes, it is.
So if there was a way to, once the money is given out, now the resources, you're being connected to the resources that can help you find at a discounted price, but you know that these people know what they're doing. Yeah. And my money is not going to waste. Plus, you don't know what you don't know, right? What else? Again, you don't know what you don't know. It's hard to find out some of the things happening in Milwaukee that helps founders. Somebody have to tell you about it. So somehow, we got to figure out a way to make a big billboard somehow.
Broadcast it. Yeah. Oh, I love that. There needs to be, I've heard, I've gotten a lot of feedback around figuring out a way to really streamline communication because there is a lot of things going on. For instance, Tech Month's got 60 plus events happening, and the events keep rolling in. Outside of that, I mean, there's so many different organizations that are doing incredible work. I mean, we think about all of the different, Milwaukee organizations, but statewide as well. And I don't think that enough of us are taking advantage or tapping into it because we don't know, like you
You
said.
don't know.
So
Yeah.
building more awareness, I think, is definitely going to be a focus area for Milky Way Tech Hub specifically. But I would encourage, listeners to, feel free to reach out with any ideas on how we can continue to make that possible.
Yeah, subscribe to our mailing list.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, first step is subscribe to the Milky Way Tech Hub newsletter, and follow us on all of the different outlets. But of course, I'm always open to improving and figuring out ways to continue to plug people and founders like yourselves into our ecosystem. So I appreciate that your thoughts are there.
Yeah, I think that'll help. Starting from college, when they graduate, help is here. So be nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
No, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yes, it was. Thanks.